Every morning before the sun is even up, there's this old, shaggy dog sitting right outside the gates of Maple Grove Elementary. Nobody really knows where he comes from, but he's always there, rain or shine, summer or winter, always waiting. The kids call him the gate dog. Some of them toss him crumbs from their lunches or wave to him before class, but most just pass by, whispering about him like he's a ghost that only belongs to their little world. Today isn't any different. Except for one thing, Ms. Reed is new at the school. It's her first week, and she's still learning the rhythm of the halls, the faces of her students. As she walks past the iron gates, she notices the dog sitting there, his fur matted and gray, eyes tired but gentle. There's something in his stare that makes her pause. She kneels beside him, trying not to scare him off. "Hey, old boy." You waiting for someone?" she whispers, not expecting an answer. The dog doesn't move away. He just looks up at her, brown eyes shining, tail thumping once against the pavement. Ms. Reed pulls out half her sandwich from her bag and offers it to him. "Want some lunch?" she asks, voice gentle. The dog sniffs it, then takes it carefully from her hand. He eats slowly, almost politely, like he's used to waiting for scraps. As Ms. Reed sits there, a few kids gather around, watching her with wide eyes. One little girl, Mia, whispers to her friend, "I heard he's been waiting for his owner for years." "My brother says he's cursed." Her friend shivers. "Mom told me not to go near him. She said stray dogs can be mean." Ms. Reed looks up and gives them a small smile. "He's not mean at all. He's just hungry and maybe a little lonely." The janitor, Mr. Cole, comes shuffling by, pushing his mop bucket. He glances at the scene and shakes his head. "That dog's been here longer than most of the staff. Some say he was here before I even started." Ms. Reed asks, "Does anyone know his name?" Mr. Cole shrugs. "No one's ever claimed him. He just shows up every morning, sits out here, and waits. Never causes trouble." The first bell rings, echoing across the schoolyard. Kids rush past, backpacks bouncing, shouts filling the air. The dog doesn't move. He just lifts his head a little, watching every single child walk through those gates. It's like he's searching for a familiar face. Ms. Reed stands up and brushes the crumbs from her skirt. She looks back at the dog one more time before heading inside. "See you later, old friend," she says softly. Inside, the hallways are buzzing. Kids hang up coats, teachers check their lesson plans, and the whole school feels alive. But outside, the dog sits perfectly still, not distracted by the noise, not bothered by the cold wind picking up. His eyes never leave the doors. At lunchtime, Ms. Reed finds herself peeking through the window. She sees him still there, curled up by the gate, waiting. A couple of older boys pass by him, tossing a crust of bread at his paws. He sniffs it but barely eats. He's not really here for food. After school, Mia hangs back, standing by the front steps. She watches as her mom's car pulls up, but her eyes keep drifting to the dog. She walks over, crouches down, and says, "Hi, buddy. Why are you always waiting? Are you hoping someone will come back for you?" The dog leans into her hand, eyes closing for a second as she scratches behind his ear. It's a small moment, but it means everything. "Maybe you just want someone to remember you." Mia whispers. Principal Evans stands nearby, arms folded. He frowns at the dog, clearly not a fan. "That dog better not cause any trouble. I don't want him scaring the children." Ms. Reed walks over and says, "He's not hurting anyone. He just wants to be close." Principal Evans sighs. "If he's still here by the end of the week, I'll have to call animal control. We can't have strays hanging around the school." Ms. Reed feels a pinch of worry. She glances back at the dog, still sitting patiently. eyes glued to the school door as if he's willing someone to appear. As the day winds down and the sun drops lower in the sky, the school empties out. Kids head home, teachers pack up, and soon the yard is quiet again. Only the dog remains. He sits until the last child leaves, then finally stands up, stretches his stiff legs, and limps away down the sidewalk, looking over his shoulder as if making sure no one was left behind. Ms. Reed watches from her car as he disappears around the corner. She feels something stir in her heart, a strange sadness for a dog whose story no one seems to know. She makes a silent promise to herself. Tomorrow, she brings something extra for him. Maybe he's waiting for more than just a familiar face. That night, as the stars blink over Maple Grove, the old dog curls up under a bush near the school, eyes still fixed on the dark windows. He dreams of laughter, of a girl's arms wrapped around his neck, of a promise made long ago. And, though the world has changed, he keeps waiting, hope never leaving his heart. Tomorrow, he'll be back at the gate. Just like always. The next morning, the old dog is already there, pressed close to the gate when the first car pulls up. The schoolyard fills with voices and feet, but all eyes seem to land on him. This time, something is different. The kids are talking even more than usual, their whispers quick and full of secrets. I heard he chased off a delivery guy last night, a boy says, tugging his friend's sleeve. No way. My mom says he's dangerous, the friend answers, glancing over his shoulder at the dog. But the old dog doesn't look dangerous. His fur is tangled, his eyes gentle. He lifts his head each time a child passes, tail giving a tired wag before dropping again. He waits, hope flickering in his gaze, even as the stories about him grow with every telling. Miss Reed is one of the first teachers to arrive. She walks right up to the gate, kneels down, and greets him with a soft, "Hey there, old friend. You hungry today?" She offers half a muffin, which the dog takes gently from her hand. Just then, Principal Evans passes by, arms full of folders. He glances at Ms. Reed and shakes his head. "We shouldn't encourage him," he says firmly. "If he gets comfortable, he'll never leave," Ms. Reed stands. "He doesn't want trouble. He's just waiting for someone." Principal Evans sighs. "We have to think about the children's safety. Please don't feed him again." As Evans walks away, Ms. Reed looks down at the dog. "Don't listen to him. I know you're just lonely," she whispers. Meanwhile, a group of kids gathers nearby, watching. Mia, the little girl with a braid, steps out from the crowd. She clutches a plastic cup filled with water. "Can I give it to him?" she asks, looking at Ms. Reed. Ms. Reed nods. "Go ahead. Just be gentle." Mia crouches down and offers the cup. The dog leans forward, tongue lapping up the water. For the first time, he wags his tail more than once. Mia's face lights up. He's thirsty. See, he's not scary at all. Her friend Noah stays back. "What if he bites you?" "He won't," Mia insists. "He's a good dog." A couple of teachers standing by the entrance whisper to each other. "That stray is becoming a distraction," one says. "Maybe someone should call the shelter." But as the day goes on, the dog does nothing but watch, eyes moving from face to face as the children file in and out. During recess, he follows each group from outside the fence, never barking, just hoping. When the smaller kids play near the fence, he lies down in the grass, never taking his eyes off the playground. At lunch, Mia brings him the crusts from her sandwich. "You must miss someone," she says softly. "Don't worry. I'll be your friend." Ms. Reed leans on the fence, watching the gentle exchange. A few students join her, drawn by Mia's bravery. One boy says, "Why do you think he waits here every day?" Mia shrugs. Maybe he's lost. Maybe someone forgot him. The old dog presses his head against the wire, letting Mia scratch his ear. Noah, still unsure, asks, "What's his name?" Ms. Reed shakes her head. No one seems to know. Maybe he's just waiting for someone to say it. As classes end, the parking lot fills up again. Kids rush to their parents, but a few linger near the gate, looking back at the old dog. He stands, tail drooping, watching each family walk away. Principal Evans comes outside, spotting the group. "All right, everyone, let's get moving." "No hanging around the gate," he calls, waving his arms. "And remember, don't pet the stray." Ms. Reed watches the dog curl up by the fence as the crowd thins. He lays his head on his paws, eyes never leaving the door. The janitor walks by, giving the dog a sad little nod. "Looks like he's still waiting," he mutters. Mia's mom honks the car horn. "Come on, Mia," she calls. Mia waves goodbye to the dog. "I'll see you tomorrow, okay?" The dog lifts his head as if he understands. As the last cars pull away and the sun begins to set, the old dog stays where he is. Even as the yard empties, he refuses to leave, stubborn and silent. The only movement is his eyes, searching the faces of every last person leaving the school. Inside, Ms. Reed looks back out the window, a lump in her throat. "Who are you waiting for?" she whispers. And outside, the dog waits. He waits as the shadows grow, as the world grows quiet again. He waits for a face that doesn't come, for a voice he still remembers. His hope never wavers, not even as night falls and the world forgets him once more. But Mia doesn't forget. As she drifts to sleep that night, she thinks of the old dog by the gate and wonders about the story hidden behind those tired, gentle eyes. If you feel connected to this story, please like, share, and let me know your city or country below. After another restless night, Mia woke early, thoughts of the old dog pressing on her heart. She got ready for school faster than ever, grabbing an extra biscuit and stuffing it into her backpack. "You're in a hurry this morning," her mom noticed. Mia just smiled. "I want to see the dog before class." Her mom only shook her head, but Mia could see worry in her eyes. At school, the old dog was already there, waiting at the gate, his fur still damp from the morning dew. He perked up as soon as he saw Mia, tail giving a slow, hopeful wag. She rushed to him, crouching low. "Morning, buddy. I brought you something." She held out the biscuit. The dog took it gently, as if he was afraid to hurt her. Miss Reed arrived moments later, noticing how easily the dog trusted Mia. "He really likes you, Mia," she said with a smile. "He's special, isn't he?" Mia nodded. "I wish I knew his real name. He feels like he belongs here." A cold breeze whipped by. The dog shivered, and Mia reached out to scratch behind his ear. Her fingers brushed against something hard, tangled deep beneath his fur. "Ms. Reed, I think he's wearing a collar," she said. Ms. Reed knelt beside Mia. Together, they parted the thick fur around his neck, revealing an old, faded leather collar. Hanging from it was a metal tag, scratched and weathered with age. Ms. Reed gently turned it over. The name Buddy was barely readable, the letters worn down from years of waiting. "Buddy," Mia whispered, testing the sound. The dog lifted his head, eyes suddenly bright. It was as if he remembered the name. Miss Reed's voice softened. "Is that your name, old boy?" "Buddy?" The dog licked her hand, his tail thumping the ground. Miss Reed smiled at Mia. "I think we found it." As the morning bell rang, Ms. Reed slipped into the front office, holding the collar tag in her palm. "Do you recognize this name, Buddy?" she asked the secretary. The woman frowned and shook her head. "I've never heard of a dog named Buddy around here. We don't have any records of a missing dog, at least not in recent years." "Maybe check with Mr. Cole? He's been here the longest." Ms. Reed thanked her and walked down to the janitor's closet, finding Mr. Cole fixing a broom. "Morning, Mr. Cole. "Do you know anything about a dog named Buddy?" Mr. Cole scratched his head. "That's the first time I've heard his name. He's just been the dog to most folks. Poor thing's got a story, I can tell. But no, I don't know where he came from." As Ms. Reed returned to her classroom, her thoughts wouldn't settle. There was something about Buddy that felt like a puzzle missing all the important pieces. Meanwhile, Mia sat at her desk daydreaming. She drew pictures of Buddy in her notebook, one with his name on a shiny new tag, another of him playing in a big backyard. Her teacher called on her, but she barely heard. Buddy's story tugged at her mind all day. After school, Mia waited until the last bell before heading outside. The yard was nearly empty, but Buddy was still there, watching the doors. She sat down next to him, hugging her knees. "I wish I could help you, Buddy. I wish I knew what you're waiting for." Buddy pressed his nose into her hand, then rested, his head on her lap, eyes closing as if comforted by her touch. That night, Mia couldn't sleep. When she finally drifted off, she dreamed of Buddy waiting in the rain, his fur soaked and his body shivering. In her dream, he watched the school doors, searching for a face in the sea of children that never came. He didn't move, even as the puddles grew around him, even when thunder rumbled above. She woke with a gasp, heart pounding, the dream still clinging to her. At breakfast, she told her mom, "I dreamed Buddy was waiting for someone in the rain." "He looks so sad, Mom," her mom sighed. "Mia, dogs don't have stories like that. He's just a stray." "I know you care, but don't get too attached." Mia stared at her cereal, refusing to believe it. "You didn't see his eyes, Mom. He's not just any dog." After breakfast, Mia stuffed her notebook into her backpack and hurried to school. Determined to spend more time with Buddy, she stopped by the gate where he was waiting, as always. "I had a dream about you," she told him softly. "I think you're waiting for someone who's never coming back." The bell rang, pulling her away, but she looked over her shoulder one last time before joining her classmates. Buddy watched her go, eyes sad but grateful for the attention. Inside, Ms. Reed spoke quietly with other teachers about the dog. "His name is Buddy," she told them. "He must have belonged to someone once." The music teacher shook her head. "There are a lot of lost souls out there. Maybe he's just another one." But as the school day ended and the sun dipped lower, Buddy stayed by the gate, never giving up hope. And Mia, falling asleep that night, whispered into her pillow, "I won't let you wait alone, Buddy, I promise." Even as the world moved on, the old dog's eyes never stopped searching. And Mia knew somewhere, somehow, there was a story waiting to be found. The next day, dark clouds rolled in before the morning bell even rang. By the time the kids arrived at school, fat raindrops were already falling, tapping on car windows and bouncing off the sidewalk. Still, Buddy was there, sitting in his usual spot by the gate, fur already soaked and sticking to his skinny frame. He shivered but didn't move, not even as thunder rumbled across the sky. Mia rushed from the car, her raincoat flapping behind her. She stopped at the gate, kneeling down next to Buddy. "Oh, Buddy, you're all wet," she said, voice full of worry. She pulled a napkin from her lunchbox and tried to wipe his face, but it didn't do much. "Why don't you come inside?" she begged. Buddy only leaned his head into her palm, his eyes never leaving the school doors. Ms. Reed hurried over, umbrella in hand. "Come on, Mia, you'll catch a cold out here." She glanced at Buddy, heart heavy with worry. "Poor thing, he won't even come under the awning." Mia looked up, rain dripping from her chin. "He's waiting, Ms. Reed. He doesn't care if he's cold." Ms. Reed knelt down, reaching out to Buddy. "Hey, old boy, it's not safe to sit out here like this." She opened her umbrella wide, trying to shield him, but Buddy barely moved. He kept his eyes on the entrance, tail thumping just once as if to say thanks. Lightning flashed and Buddy flinched, but he didn't run. A group of parents hurried by, whispering. "He shouldn't be out here," one mother said. "Someone needs to do something." Inside, Principal Evans looked out the window, frowning. "If that dog is still here after lunch, I'm calling animal control," he muttered to the secretary. The rain kept falling, heavier with each hour. By recess, puddles spread across the playground and most of the kids stayed inside. But Mia stood by the window, watching Buddy. She could see his fur pressed flat by the rain. His body shivering from cold. Noah came up behind her. "Why won't he leave? Why doesn't he find someplace warm?" Mia shook her head. "He's waiting for someone. He's never going to give up, Noah." Buddy finally stood and walked to the edge of the gate, peering through the bars as children ran past on their way to lunch. Each time a group passed, his eyes searched for a familiar face. He wagged his tail at the little ones, but when he didn't find who he was hoping for, the tail fell again, slower every time. Ms. Reed saw him from the hallway and hurried outside. Between classes, Raincoat pulled tight. "Come on, Buddy," she pleaded. "Let's get you inside just for a little while." She opened the door wide, patting her leg. "Come here, boy, please." Buddy stared at her, water dripping from his nose, and took a single step forward. But then, as if remembering something, he stopped and sat right back down in the pouring rain. His eyes stayed locked on the stream of kids leaving the cafeteria. He wouldn't go anywhere. Mia's mom watched from her car, shaking her head. "That dog's going to get himself sick," she said. As afternoon came, thunder crashed so loud the windows shook. Buddy flinched but never ran. Kids watched him from their classrooms, whispering about the stubborn dog who never left, not even for a storm. Some were scared, but most just felt sad. After school, the rain slowed to a drizzle. Mia ran to the gate, breathless. She took off her raincoat and draped it over Buddy's back. "You can keep it," she whispered. "Just stay warm, please." Buddy looked up at her, licking her hand, but his gaze always drifted back to the door. More children gathered, watching the old dog. "He's still waiting," one girl said softly. "Miss." Reed joined them, kneeling beside Buddy. She stroked his soaked fur. "Who are you waiting for?" she whispered, voice trembling. A small boy piped up. "Maybe he's waiting for his kid to come back." No one answered, but the question hung in the air, heavy as the clouds overhead. Principal Evans came outside, umbrella snapping in the wind. "All right, everyone, time to go home. This is enough. If that dog is still here tomorrow, I'm calling someone to take him away," he warned. Mia's eyes filled with tears. "Don't let them take him," she pleaded quietly to Ms. Reed. Ms. Reed squeezed her hand. "We'll think of something, Mia, I promise." One by one, the kids left, glancing back at Buddy. The old dog didn't move, not until the very last. Bus pulled away and the sky turned dark again. He finally stood up, shook the rain from his fur, and lay down under the bench by the gate, curling into a tight ball. Mia's raincoat was still draped over him as he closed his eyes, shivering. Inside the school, Ms. Reed watched from her window, heart aching. She whispered, "Hold on, Buddy. Someone's going to come for you. Someone has to." Outside, thunder rolled far away, and Buddy waited, just like he always had, hope flickering in his tired eyes, the promise of tomorrow never leaving his heart. The next morning, the sun finally peeked through the clouds. Puddles sparkled across the sidewalk, and birds sang as if nothing had happened. But Buddy was there, right by the gate, Ms. Reed's raincoat still draped over his back. His fur was still damp, but his eyes held the same gentle hope as always. Mia rushed to him before the bell, carrying a biscuit in her hand. She knelt by Buddy and stroked his head. "You made it through the storm, Buddy. I was so worried," she whispered. Buddy wagged his tail, licking her fingers. Mia noticed something different today. A small, crumpled piece of paper was tied to Buddy's old collar, knotted with faded string. Curious, Mia gently untied the string and unfolded the paper. It was a photograph, wrinkled and stained from the rain. The image showed a little girl, no older than 7, hugging a small, fluffy puppy. Behind them stood the same school gates, though they looked newer and brighter in the picture. Ms. Reed hurried over, kneeling beside Mia. What do you have there? She asked. Mia held up the photograph. Look, it's Buddy as a puppy. And a little girl. Ms. Reed took the photo and studied it, her eyes growing wide. This picture must be over 10 years old, she said softly. Do you recognize the girl? Mia shook her head. No, but she looks happy. Maybe she's who Buddy is waiting for. Other children gathered around, peering over Mia's shoulder. One boy pointed. That's our school, right? It looks different. Maybe it's before they painted the doors, another girl said. Bell rang and the kids scattered, but Ms. Reed couldn't stop thinking about the photo. She took it inside, showed it to the other teachers in the lounge. Has anyone seen this girl before? She asked, passing the photo around. Mr. Cole frowned, squinting at the faded image. That gate was replaced a long time ago. I don't remember the girl, but that sure looks like this place. The music teacher stared at the puppy in the photo. That has to be Buddy. He was so young then. During recess, the teachers stood together by the window, watching Buddy as he waited by the gate. He's not just any stray, Ms. Reed whispered. He's holding on to something or someone. After lunch, Mia returned to the office. Ms. Reed, can I look through the old yearbooks? Maybe I'll find the girl, Ms. Reed smiled. That's a good idea, Mia. I'll help you after school. When the final bell rang, Mia and Ms. Reed met in the library. They pulled out boxes of yearbooks, flipping through pages, scanning every photo of smiling kids. But it was hard. The picture was so old, the girl's hair shorter, her face younger. None of these look like her, Mia sighed. Miss Reed kept searching. Don't give up. Maybe she moved before you started here. Mia's eyes filled with determination. We can't stop now. Buddy's been waiting too long. Outside, Buddy paced by the fence, eyes watching every family as they left. His tail wagged at the younger kids, but each time the girl from the photograph didn't appear, he settled back into his spot, hope slipping from his tired eyes. As dusk fell, the teachers began to whisper among themselves, the photo passing from hand to hand. Who is she? Why did she leave? Did Buddy belong to her? Ms. Reed posted the photo on the staff bulletin board, writing beneath it, Does anyone remember this girl? Please see Ms. Reed. That evening, as Mia left the library, she stopped to say goodbye to Buddy. She knelt by the fence and whispered, We're going to find her, Buddy, I promise. You won't have to wait alone much longer. Buddy pressed his nose to her hand, eyes shining with gratitude. Back at home, Mia shared the story with her mom. He's waiting for the girl in the photo. I know it. Her mom shook her head gently. Honey, sometimes dogs just get lost. Mia looked up stubborn. But not Buddy, he remembers her. That night, Mia dreamed of the girl and Buddy running together on the school lawn, laughter filling the air. She woke with hope, sure that the answer was out there, if only she and Ms. Reed could look hard enough. The next morning, Buddy waited as always, the photograph now safe in Ms. Reed's desk. And all around the school, people began to wonder who the girl in the faded picture really was, and what stories she and Buddy still had left to tell. The following week, whispers about Buddy and the photograph swept through the halls. Every teacher and student seemed to have an opinion, but no one recognized the girl in the faded picture. Buddy stayed by the gate, wrapped in Mia's raincoat, head lifting every time a child passed. It was as if he could sense that answers were close, but still out of reach. One sunny afternoon, the school was decorated with balloons and streamers for a special celebration. Mrs. Jacobs, the retired art teacher, was visiting for her birthday. She had worked at Maple Grove for nearly 40 years and had taught nearly every child in town at some point. Her hair was white now, her hands wrinkled and gentle. She arrived just as the last class was ending, smiling as the children sang, "Happy Birthday," and handed her a card full of crayon hearts. After cake in the staff lounge, Mrs. Jacobs strolled outside with Ms. Reed, who handed her a slice wrapped in a napkin. The two walked past the front gate, where Buddy lay stretched out in the sun. Mrs. Jacobs stopped, her eyes locking on Buddy. Her hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my goodness," she gasped. Is that Buddy?" Ms. Reed looked at her in surprise. "You know him?" Tears sprang to Mrs. Jacobs' eyes as she nodded. "Of course I know him. That's Ellie's dog. He was just a puppy when she brought him here." Ms. Reed's heart thudded. "Ellie? Was she the girl in the photo?" Mrs. Jacobs nodded, wiping her eyes. "Yes, sweet Ellie. She was the quietest girl in my art class. She loved to draw animals. Her parents got her Buddy as a surprise. She brought him to school every day that year. He used to wait for her outside, right where he is now." Mia, who had been nearby, rushed over. "Did something happen to Ellie? Why doesn't she come back for Buddy?" Mrs. Jacobs' voice trembled. "Ellie disappeared. It was right before summer break years ago. One day she was here and then she wasn't. The police searched everywhere, but her family moved away soon after. No one ever found out what happened." The news stunned Ms. Reed and Mia. "So Buddy has been waiting all this time?" Mia whispered, voice breaking. Mrs. Jacobs nodded. "He never left the gate. Every day he waited, rain or shine. After Ellie was gone, he'd just lie by the fence, watching the doors, hoping she'd come running out. I remember trying to feed him, but he wouldn't eat much. He was waiting for her, not for food." Other teachers overheard, the story spreading like wildfire. Mr. Cole shook his head. "All this time, I just thought he was a stray who liked the kids. I never knew he was waiting for someone who never came back." Principal Evans came outside, listening to the whispers. He frowned at the sight of Buddy, then at the group gathering by the gate. "I need everyone to step back, please," he called. "We can't have crowds out here. And that dog, he shouldn't be on school property." Mia stepped forward, hands balled into fists. "Please don't make him leave, Principal Evans. He's not hurting anyone. He's just waiting for his girl." Several children lined up beside her, standing in a row by the gate. "We want Buddy to stay," Noah said. "He's part of our school." Ms. Reed turned to Principal Evans, her voice steady. "He's not a danger. He's never bitten anyone, never chased anyone. He's just grieving. He needs kindness." Principal Evans hesitated, looking at all the faces, young and old, filled with worry for Buddy. "This isn't up to me alone. But if he causes trouble, I'll have to do something." A teacher from the second grade stepped in. "Let's just let him stay. He's done nothing wrong." Mrs. Jacobs reached down, her hand shaking, and stroked Buddy's head. "Ellie loved you so much," she whispered. Buddy leaned into her touch, eyes closing for the first time in peace. The bell rang for dismissal, but instead of rushing to the buses, the children gathered around Buddy. They sat on the grass, reading to him, stroking his back, and talking about Ellie like she might walk through the gate at any moment. It was as if the entire school had agreed Buddy was one of them now. As parents arrived, they were surprised to see the line of children and teachers standing by the gate, united for Buddy. Some took pictures, others shook their heads in disbelief. Mia's mom called out, "Mia, time to go." But Mia stayed until the last second, whispering, "Don't worry, buddy. We're going to help you." That night, Principal Evans called a meeting with the teachers. This can't go on forever. He can't just live here. Ms. Reed spoke. He's not hurting anyone. Maybe we can find out more about Ellie. Maybe there's a way to help him. Mrs. Jacobs, her eyes still red, agreed. He deserves peace, and so does Ellie. Back at the gate, Buddy curled up beneath the bench, surrounded by the scent of children's hands and the faint hope of a long-lost friend. For the first time in years, he wasn't alone. The children had formed a line of protection around him, as if they could keep away every sadness and every storm. That night, the school was quiet, but a new feeling lingered in the air, hope, mixed with the ache of old wounds. Buddy waited not just for Ellie, but for kindness, for remembrance, and maybe, just maybe, for a miracle. The next morning, the school buzzed with whispers and excitement. The story of Buddy and Ellie had reached every classroom, every hallway. Some parents even called the office, asking if the rumors about the lost girl and her faithful dog were true. No one could focus on lessons. Everyone wanted to know more. Mia arrived early, racing to the gate with her backpack bouncing. Buddy was already waiting, tail giving a hopeful wag as she knelt down. "Good morning, Buddy. Did you sleep?" "Okay?" she asked softly. Buddy licked her hand, pressing close as if he knew she needed comfort too. Inside, Ms. Reed hurried to the library, her mind spinning with questions. She needed answers. She pulled out stacks of old yearbooks, school records, and even missing persons flyers from years ago. The faces blurred together, but she kept searching for Ellie. She found her in a faded yearbook photo. Ellie, small and shy, standing beside Buddy as a puppy. It was just like the photograph they'd found. During recess, Mia shared the story with her friends. Ellie was real. She went missing years ago, and Buddy's been waiting for her ever since. She explained. Noah frowned. Why did her family leave? "I don't know," Mia admitted, voice low. "But Ms. Reed is trying to find out. Maybe if we learn more, we can help Buddy." News of Buddy reached even the local newspaper. A reporter stopped by the front office, asking Principal Evans if he could take photos. "We'd like to share his story. Maybe someone out there knows what happened to Ellie." The reporter said. Principal Evans looked unsure but nodded. "Just make sure you stay out of the students' way. We want everyone to feel safe." That afternoon, Ms. Reed found Mia in the hallway. She knelt beside her, voice gentle. "I found something, Mia. Ellie's family moved away right after. She disappeared. No one knows where they went. It's like they vanished." Mia's eyes filled with tears. "So Buddy really was left behind?" "All this time?" Ms. Reed nodded. "He stayed, hoping Ellie would come back. That's why he never leaves the gate." Mia hugged Buddy tightly. "Don't worry. We're not giving up on you." Outside, the reporter snapped pictures of Buddy sitting with Mia and a group of students by the fence. He asked, "What makes Buddy special?" Noah spoke up, voice strong. "He never gave up, even when everyone else forgot." Parents picking up their children paused to listen as the story spread. Some shook their heads, others wiped away tears. "That poor dog," one mother said softly. "He's been waiting longer than any of us realized." Principal Evans watched the scene from his office, feeling a mix of pride and worry. The school had never been this united over anything before, not even the annual fundraiser. Later that day, Ms. Reed returned to the library, searching online forums and old newspaper clippings. She wrote down everything she could find about Ellie's disappearance. Every lead ended the same way, with silence, with questions that had no answers. As the final bell rang, Mia hugged Buddy one more time. "I promise, Buddy, we're going to help you, somehow." Buddy nuzzled her cheek, eyes closing with relief. He could feel her promise, her hope, even if he didn't understand every word. Ms. Reed watched the pair, her heart aching. She knew it wasn't fair for Buddy to wait forever, but she also knew she couldn't let him down. She looked up at the sky, whispering, "Ellie, if you can hear us, Buddy is still here. He's still waiting for you." As the sun set, the schoolyard grew quiet. The kids went home, but Buddy stayed, eyes on the doors, hope flickering like a candle in the dark. Mia watched him from the car window, pressing her hand to the glass. "We'll find her, Buddy, I promise." Inside the school, Ms. Reed gathered her notes, determined to keep searching. Outside, Buddy curled up beneath the bench, Mia's raincoat, tucked around him, and waited for the day his waiting would finally end. The sun was just rising when the first car pulled into the parking lot. Buddy was already waiting at the gate, nose pressed to the cold metal, as if he could sense something different about this day. He watched every car with hope, tail giving a soft thump every time a door opened. Inside, Ms. Reed finished her coffee and hurried to the window. She saw Buddy at the gate, just as always, but noticed his ears perk up even more than usual. "What is it, Buddy?" she whispered through the glass. Classes began like any other day. Mia arrived late, racing to the fence and dropping her backpack. "Hey, Buddy, I'm here," she called, rubbing his head. Buddy wagged his tail but kept glancing past her, eyes scanning every car and every adult that walked by. Mid-morning. A sleek black car pulled up, unfamiliar to everyone. The engine cut and a woman stepped out, looking lost and nervous. She wore a faded blue coat and held a crumpled letter in her hand. She paused, staring at the school building, then at Buddy. By the gate. Buddy went still. His whole body quivered. Slowly, as if afraid to believe his eyes, he rose and stepped forward, pressing his nose against the gate and whining softly. Ms. Reed spotted the woman, sensing something important. She hurried outside just as the woman approached the fence. The woman's eyes filled with tears the moment she saw Buddy. She dropped to her knees, voice shaking. "Buddy? Is that really you?" Buddy barked, a broken, hopeful sound. He pressed as close as the fence would allow, tail wagging wildly. For a moment, he looked like a puppy again. Desperate and overjoyed. The children gathered around, sensing something big was happening. Mia's heart pounded. She looked from Buddy to the woman. "Ms. Reed, who is she?" Ms. Reed's voice was soft. "I don't know, Mia, but I think Buddy does." The woman reached through the bars, tears streaming down her cheeks. "It's me, Buddy. It's Ellie's mom. Do you remember?" Buddy whined and licked her fingers, pawing at the fence, eyes bright with recognition and longing. The whole school seemed to pause, every child and teacher drawn to the scene at the gate. Principal Evans hurried out, worried about the crowd. "What's going on out here?" he demanded, but stopped short when he saw the woman sobbing by Buddy's side. Through her tears, the woman explained, "We searched for Buddy for years. When Ellie went missing, he ran away. We didn't know where he went. We never knew he was here, waiting." Mia pressed close to the fence. "Are you really Ellie's mom?" she asked, voice trembling. The woman nodded, unable to speak at first. "Yes. My name is Mrs. Harper. Ellie was my daughter. She loved Buddy more than anything." She broke down, shoulders shaking, and Buddy barked again, pawing desperately at the metal. Miss Reed put her arm around Mrs. Harper. "We're so sorry for your loss." Buddy never stopped waiting. He's been here every day. Mrs. Harper looked at Buddy, pain and love in her eyes. "You waited all this time? Oh, Buddy, I'm so sorry. We tried everything. After Ellie disappeared, we lost everything. My husband. And I moved away because it hurt too much, but I never stopped missing her. Or you." The children listened, some wiping away tears. Mia reached through the fence to touch Buddy's head. "He missed you too," she whispered. Mrs. Harper smiled at Mia. Thank you for taking care of him. I never knew he was here. I just wanted to see the school again, just once. I hoped maybe I'd find a memory or something to hold on to. I never dreamed I'd find Buddy. Principal Evans cleared his throat, softer than usual. Would you like to come inside and see Buddy? He's been a part of this school for a long time. Mrs. Harper nodded, still crying. The gate was unlocked and Buddy raced to her, nearly knocking her over as he jumped into her arms. She hugged him, burying her face in his fur. Oh, Buddy, you're so old. But you're still my good boy. You're still waiting, aren't you? Buddy whined and nuzzled into her coat, tail wagging so hard he could barely stand. The children clapped, some of them crying, others grinning through their tears. Ms. Reed spoke softly. He never gave up hope. Every day he waited for you and Ellie. Mrs. Harper knelt in the grass, holding Buddy close. Thank you, she said to Ms. Reed, to Mia, to everyone who had cared for him. Thank you for loving him when we couldn't. The day felt lighter somehow, as if all the sadness Buddy carried had finally been seen, finally shared. Mrs. Harper sat with Buddy under the big oak tree while the children came one by one to pet him and tell him they were happy for him. As the afternoon wore on, Mrs. Harper sat quietly with Buddy in her lap. Mia watched them, feeling a strange mix of happiness and sorrow. Will you take Buddy home? She finally asked. Mrs. Harper looked up, eyes shining. I want to. But I think Buddy belongs here too. This is where he waited. This is where he kept hope alive. Maybe I can visit, and maybe we can heal together. Buddy settled down, eyes closing in peace for the first time in years. The children gathered around, and for a while, the gate was a place of hope. Not heartbreak. When the final bell rang, Buddy lifted his head and watched the children leave, just as always. But this time, he didn't look so alone. And for the first time, it felt like he wasn't just waiting, he was finally being found. After Mrs. Harper's visit, the school felt changed. Buddy was no longer just a mystery. He was the heart of a story everyone finally understood. Still, questions lingered. People whispered in the halls about Ellie and her family, about how pain had scattered them and left Buddy waiting behind. The truth hung in the air like a storm that refused to pass. The next day, Mrs. Harper returned, her steps slow but determined. She wore the same blue coat and carried a box of old photos and letters. The children gathered around, hungry for answers. Ms. Reed invited Mrs. Harper to speak in the library, and Buddy followed her closely, his eyes never leaving her side. As the children and teachers crowded in, Mrs. Harper took a shaky breath. Thank you for letting me share this. I want you all to know the truth about Ellie and about Buddy. She opened the box, showing a picture of Ellie and Buddy as a puppy, laughing together in the sun. Ellie was a quiet girl. She loved animals more than anything. Buddy was her best friend. Every day they came here together. This place was her whole world. She paused, tears filling her eyes. The day Ellie disappeared was the worst day of my life. We thought she got lost on her way home, but no one ever saw her again. We searched for weeks. The police looked everywhere, but we never found out what happened. After a while, my husband and we couldn't stay. It hurt too much. Buddy pressed close, nuzzling Mrs. Harper's hand. She smiled weakly. Buddy ran away right after Ellie did. We looked for him, but he was just gone. I thought maybe he'd gone to find her. Or maybe he just couldn't live in the house without her. The room was silent. Mia reached out, taking Mrs. Harper's hand. We're so sorry, Mrs. Harper. Buddy's been waiting here every single day. He never gave up on Ellie. Mrs. Harper nodded. I know. Seeing him here, waiting after all these years, it's both beautiful and heartbreaking. He was more loyal than any of us could ever be. he never lost hope. Principal Evans cleared his throat. "Why didn't you come back sooner?" Mrs. Harper's voice shook. We were ashamed. We felt like we'd failed Ellie and Buddy. We tried to start over, but there was always something missing. "I came here today because I couldn't let another year pass without visiting. I never expected to find Buddy still waiting." The children stared at Buddy, tears shining in their eyes. Noah asked, "Do you think Ellie knew how much Buddy loved her?" Mrs. Harper wiped her eyes. "I think she did. He was her shadow. She never went anywhere without him." Ms. Reed hugged Mrs. Harper gently. "Thank you for telling us the truth. Buddy's story helped bring us all together. We all love him now." Mrs. Harper looked around the room, her eyes meeting every student and teacher. "Please, don't ever forget what Buddy did. He waited for hope even when everyone else lost it. He reminded us that love doesn't disappear, not really." Buddy wagged his tail, sensing the warmth in the room. For the first time, he lay down in the middle of the library, eyes soft and peaceful. After school, the children sat with Buddy by the oak tree, telling stories about Ellie. Mia brought her drawing pad and sketched Buddy with angel wings, showing it to Mrs. Harper. "He's a guardian. He kept hope alive for all of us." Mrs. Harper hugged Mia tightly. "Thank you, sweetheart. You gave him what we couldn't love and patience." As the sky grew dark, Mrs. Harper stood, looking at the school one more time. "I'll visit Buddy as much as I can. He'll never be alone again." Mia whispered to Buddy, "You did it, Buddy. You kept your promise." That night, as Buddy lay beneath the bench, he seemed lighter, as if the years of waiting had finally been lifted from his shoulders. The truth, as heavy as it was, had set everyone free. Buddy's loyalty became a lesson for the whole school, a reminder that love waits. And sometimes, just sometimes, hope comes home. In the quiet that followed, the children knew their lives were forever changed. And so did Buddy, whose faithful heart had turned a schoolyard into a place of healing, forgiveness, and never-ending hope. Word of Buddy's story and Mrs. Harper's visit spread quickly. By the next morning, the entire town seemed to know about the dog who waited by the gate for a girl who never came back. Students arrived with flowers, drawings, and even treats for Buddy. Teachers spoke in hushed, emotional voices. Principal Evans decided the school needed to do something special, something that would honor both Buddy and Ellie. After lunch, Ms. Reed made an announcement over the loudspeaker. "Today after school, we'll be holding a candlelight vigil in honor of Ellie and Buddy's loyalty. Everyone is welcome to join us by the front gate." The rest of the day felt quiet, even the youngest kids sensing something important was about to happen. Mia wrote a letter to Ellie and folded it carefully, planning to leave it by the old oak tree. Noah made a sign that read, "Love never leaves." When the final bell rang, students, teachers, and parents gathered at the school gate. Some brought candles, others carried pictures or notes. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and pink as Ms. Reed stepped forward to speak. Buddy sat by her side, his head resting on Mia's knee. "Thank you all for coming." Ms. Reed began, her voice full of emotion. "Buddy's story is one of loyalty and hope. He waited for someone he loved, and in doing so, he reminded us all what it means to hold on to hope, even in the darkest times." Mia stepped up, lighting a candle and placing it on the ground. "This is for Ellie, and for Buddy who never gave up," she said, her voice trembling. The other children followed, lighting candles one by one, until the gate glowed with soft golden light. Mrs. Harper stood beside the oak tree, watching through tears. She knelt down and placed a picture of Ellie and Buddy at the roots, whispering, "We love you, Ellie. We'll never forget you." Buddy slowly walked over and lay down beside the picture, nose pressed to the ground as if he understood. Principal Evans wiped his eyes, stepping forward. Buddy has been a part of our school for years. From this day on, he'll always have a home here. His loyalty brought us together, and we won't forget what he's taught us. Some students read short letters or poems. One little girl said, "I didn't know Ellie, but Buddy made me believe in miracles." Another boy whispered, "He waited even when it hurt." As darkness settled in, the candles flickered, and everyone stood silently, thinking about Ellie, about Buddy, and about all the things we lose and sometimes find again. Ms. Reed closed the vigil with a gentle speech. We can't always understand why things happen, but we can choose to love and remember. Tonight, let's be grateful for every friend, every moment, and every hope that never gives up. People stayed long after the speeches ended. Some hugged, some cried, and some just stood quietly beside Buddy, their hands resting on his fur. He seemed to know this was for him and for Ellie. He lifted his head, looking around at the faces shining in the candlelight, and for the first time there was peace in his eyes. As the crowd thinned, Mia knelt beside Buddy, pressing her letter into the ground near the tree. "Good night, Buddy. Good night, Ellie. Thank you for teaching us how to hope," she whispered. Ms. Reed watched them, her heart full and aching all at once. "You'll always be our friend, Buddy," she said softly, and Buddy wagged his tail. Slow and steady. When the candles burned low and the night grew cold, Buddy curled up by the gate, surrounded by the warmth of the people who loved him. And though he still waited, he was no longer alone. Hope, love, and memory glowed all around him, lighting the darkness just enough for everyone to see their way home. Days after the vigil, Buddy became more than just the old dog at the gate. He became a symbol for the whole school. Parents who had once hurried past now stopped to bring treats. Teachers came out during breaks just to sit by him and talk. Even the shyest children, who'd never dared to pet him before, found comfort in his gentle presence. Every morning, Mia arrived early, notebook in hand, and read Buddy a new story. Sometimes she just talked to him about her dreams or what she missed. Most about Ellie, though she'd never met her. "You helped us remember her," she said one chilly morning, scratching Buddy's ear. "You helped us remember what kindness is." The school decided to make Buddy part of their morning announcements. "Don't forget to say hello to Buddy at the gate," Ms. Reed would remind everyone. Some children even made Buddy Patrol badges and took turns refilling his water bowl and brushing his fur. Buddy basked in the new attention, but he never stopped watching the gate, never stopped waiting. It was who he was, a guardian, a friend, a reminder that love endures. The school counselor told Ms. Reed, "I've never seen the kids this united. It's like Buddy brought us all together." On a rainy day, a group of parents brought supplies. A new bed, a big bag of food, and even a small wooden house with Buddy painted on the side. The children gathered around, cheering as Buddy sniffed his new home, tail wagging in approval. Even Principal Evans came outside, smiling for the first time in weeks. "He's earned it," he said, voice soft. One afternoon, Ms. Reed led a special assembly in the gym. "Buddy has taught us all about patience, love, and hope," she said. "To honor him and Ellie, we've put up a plaque by the old oak tree. It says, 'Love never leaves.' In memory of Ellie and in honor of Buddy, who waited." After school, Mia sat beside Buddy at the plaque, tracing the words with her finger. "This is for you and Ellie," she whispered. "You never let go, and neither will we." Noah and a few friends joined her, each placing a flower or a drawing beside the plaque. "He's the bravest dog I know," Noah said. Buddy stretched out on the grass, eyes shining brighter than ever. He watched the children laugh, share secrets, and play games near his spot. For the first time, he seemed truly content, surrounded by love. But even with the new bed and the honor, Buddy's eyes always drifted to the gate as the sun set. He would raise his head, hoping for a familiar face, But now, when he lowered it, again he was never alone. There was always someone nearby, a friend, a child, or a gentle hand to remind him he mattered. One morning, as the children crowded around, Mia hugged Buddy tight and whispered, "Thank you for waiting. Thank you for helping us remember her. You made this school a family." Buddy closed his eyes, tail thumping softly, and everyone knew they'd carry his story and Ellie's in their hearts forever. One frosty morning, the sky was gray and quiet as the first children arrived at school. Buddy was not at the gate. Mia felt a strange worry in her chest as she ran across the playground, her breath fogging in the cold air. She looked everywhere, by the fence, under the bench, even behind the oak tree. Buddy was nowhere to be found. Ms. Reed hurried outside, meeting Mia's eyes. She knew something was wrong. Together, they searched the schoolyard, calling, "Buddy, Buddy, where are you?" Finally, behind the little wooden house painted with his name, they found him curled up, still and peaceful, as if he were just sleeping. Mia knelt down, tears streaming. "Wake up, Buddy, please, wake up," she whispered, her voice breaking. Ms. Reed gently placed her hand on Mia's shoulder and shook her head. "He's gone, sweetheart." He waited as long as he could. The news spread quickly. Teachers cried quietly in the hallways. Some parents hugged their children extra tight. Principal Evans called the whole school together under the old oak tree. "Today we say goodbye to a true friend," he said, voice heavy. "Buddy showed us the meaning of loyalty, love, and hope." Children lined up to lay flowers, drawings, and letters beside Buddy. Mia placed her favorite drawing, a picture of Buddy with angel wings next to him. "Thank you for waiting for Ellie. Thank you for waiting for all of us," she whispered. Ms. Reed read a short letter aloud, her voice trembling. "Dear Buddy, you brought our school together. You showed us how to care for someone who needed us. We will never forget you." The school buried Buddy beneath the old oak tree, right by the gate where he had waited so faithfully. The teachers and children stood in a circle, some holding hands, many wiping away tears. "He was never just a dog," Noah said quietly. "He was our hope." Mrs. Harper came, laying a single rose on Buddy's grave. She knelt in the grass and whispered, "Ellie would be so proud of you, Buddy. You were always her hero." As the wind rustled the leaves above, Mia hugged Ms. Reed tight. "Will it ever stop hurting?" she asked. Ms. Reed wiped her tears. "Maybe not, but love like Buddy's doesn't go away. It stays in our hearts." In the days that followed, the story of Buddy lived on in every classroom, every recess game, every whispered promise under the tree. The plaque that honored Ellie and Buddy gleamed in the sunlight, and the memory of a dog who never gave up brought comfort to all who passed by. Years later, people would still come to the old oak tree and tell their children about the dog who waited for the girl he loved. And every time, hearts would ache and heal a little more, because sometimes the greatest love stories are written in silent waiting and gentle goodbyes. And Buddy, the old dog at the gate, would be remembered forever. Did this story touch your heart? Give it a thumbs up, share it around, and drop your location in the comments.